You still turning those tricks the priests taught you?
Why not? They're working, aren't they?
Stop showing off. You have a rare talent. Something that's hard to pin down. But nothing can replace a blade in a trained hand.
Would that be a hint of jealousy, Kurt? You'd like to be the one making Sparks admit it.
I've always found that magic lacks honor. But you're right. It's effective.
If you only knew how these river scum treated me. Do me a courtesy, good cousin. Now that we stand boldly alongside the brave Kurt, let's give them their money's worth.
There's no one left to pay, Your Highness. The brave Kurt and your cousin have already settled the books.
Really now? What a shame. I would have loved to have seen that. We've nothing left to do then than to board our ship. An adventure awaits us at the end of the street.
Sorry, Constantine, but we drove a hard bargain to get you out of their grasp. I don't intend to...
Bargain? Don't tell me that you paid them a ransom. Oh well. What is done is done. A mighty vessel awaits us. And a tremendous adventure.
They haven't spotted us. We could sneak out of here silently. We have a ship to board.
You've always been the reasonable soul. Don't you think these brutes deserve a punishment?
Yes, without a doubt. But don't you think there are more pressing matters? Kurt?
It is your Highness's decision to make. Whatever it is, I shall follow.
I am so eager to discover Tyr Freddy. My isle, my new city.
You'll need to arm yourself with patience. The voyage will be long. I've been told the trip lasts months.
And they say the place is full of gigantic creatures. As big as buildings.
That's right. I heard a rumour the noughts even brought one back in one of their ships.
I doubt that. The noughts are strange, but they're not idiots.
So it's here that our man keeps his son. Abusive fathers.
Be careful. Fontaine won't be alone. He'll have his henchmen with him.
A handful of underlings don't scare us away. Right, cousin?
Let's just try to remain discreet.
A father selling his own son for a few boat rides. For ugly, that is ugly.
Oh, how I would like my father to be implicated in this sordid business. Our old teacher must surely know what's going on here. Let's go talk to him.
My ship's being used to move your contraband, and now you want to sneak into one of our warehouses. I don't like this. But, since I've been sacked, let's just say that this will be a little bit of revenge.
If you wore a naught uniform and you were able to keep your mark hidden from them, they might let us in. Unless we just offered them a drink. These sailors rarely refuse one.
And then slipping them a soporific? Excellent, Kurt. I didn't take you for such sly ways.
I would like to avoid fighting with my own. The noughts are my family. And if you wouldn't mind wearing some nought clothing, we'll be less suspicious.
Here's Governor Buren's palace. I believe he's a renowned scholar. But beware, he's also a politician. With words covered in honey but as dangerous as my weapons.
You'd better go and meet this governor without me. We are at war. I'm not certain that I can remain calm if I see such a man.
The little one's not wrong. You came to flatter him. The sailor is less likely to cause an incident. But you are the diplomat.
Here's the palace. Did you prepare a speech?
I think it would be better for me to stay here if you want to preserve your image with the Alliance. My mere presence by your side would be perceived as an insult.
We rarely bow down on our ships. I hope I will not embarrass you. You are now under the stern eye of the God of Light. Hope that your underwear is clean. Being an ambassador is as dangerous as running on the rigging in a storm.
It seems like you do not hold the priests of Thélème in high regard.
It's mostly that I do not trust them. They're hot-headed. But you did a good job.
I wish I'd been given an excuse to put this madman to the sword. But you did well. Congratulations. You are already a great diplomat.
It seems to me you're being sarcastic.
Me? My apologies, my lord. It wasn't my intention.
Do you really believe all the things you told him?
Would that bother you?
I don't know. But your god seems austere, and your priests are terrifying.
I never would have thought you one to take a young recruit under your wing. I have judged you poorly, Kurt.
That's been my curse my entire life, father. People have trouble seeing past the uniform.
I've been asking myself why everyone calls you captain, seeing as you have no ship. But now I'm beginning to understand.
I'm happy to have poured some oil in your lantern, sailor.
I had thought you a lone wolf with only our good friend in your pack. But I was mistaken.
I am full of surprises, pretty she-wolf.
I see you seek to give position to your protégé. And I thought it was only one's valor in combat that had any worth.
Valor? I know he has plenty. But loyalty is also rare and is equally important.
My condolences, Kurt. I'm truly sorry. I know the pain of losing a crew member.
Thank you, Vasco.
Andevars tire. That means, may the earth welcome him. I am sorry for you, Kurt.
Thank you, Siora.
This pains me, Kurt. The doctor is a disgrace to the profession. You have my heartfelt condolences for the boy.
Thank you, Afra.
Poor child. I shall pray that he is welcomed by the illuminated, Kurt.
Thank you, Petrus.
Your crew has the scurvy, Kurt, and they're dying from fear.
I must agree, sailor, and I don't like it one bit.
That man was shaking and looking over his shoulder, as if he thought a predator had caught his scent. Whatever could terrify your warriors to jitter so?
I don't know yet, but I will find out, Siora.
Shakes, cold sweats, dilated pupils. That man was not acting, Kurt. His fear is real.
I saw it too. That's why we're gonna play his game.
Your men are terrified. I haven't seen that face on a grown man for a very long time. A few years back, in Taleme, when some members of the high clergy behaved like a band of brigands.
I'm sorry, I couldn't contain my anger.
You don't seem to like this man.
Old barrack rivalries.
Your aversion is clear. But is it him that you hate, or what the camp represents, my son?
Rolf doesn't bring back good memories for me. But let's continue. I want to know what's going on here.
Knowing someone for a long time doesn't necessarily make them a friend. I understand. People were tortured here.
The Ordo Luminis would surely envy such a place if they knew it existed.
And to think I complained about the noughts training practices, but this is horrific, Kurt.
These people have turned this place into a site of suffering. It will take years of work to erase its traces.
I refuse to let these recruits pay for the bastards who manipulate them. Let's avoid spilling blood in vain.
You're a good captain, Kurt, but I hope you understand that they won't hold back on us.
They're just kids. There has to be a way to reason with them.
You surprise me once again, Kurt. You're full of compassion for these youngsters.
These children are victims, yes. But they are armed victims. Are you sure they'll spare us in return?
If we had the time, we could find a way to put them all to sleep, but we haven't.
Siora, I'm terribly sorry.
Let's go see her now. I need to.
I'm sorry for your loss, Siora.
I'm sorry, pretty flower. I really am.
I will pray for her soul, Siora, so that the enlightened may welcome her in his glory.
My condolences, Siora.
Something's wrong. Normally, you would hear the birds singing in this place.
And yet everything seems normal to me.
I don't see anything peculiar.
You think intruders would risk coming here?
She's right. Something isn't quite normal.
Look, there it is.
I have never seen a boat on its side like this. It looks like the corpse of a Moramil.
I must admit, it is awe-inspiring.
It's sad, seeing a large ship on its side like this. It almost looks like a giant corpse.
I didn't think your ships could break like this.
My brother's in the sea. May it be your shroud.
My condolences. Death by drowning is slower than you'd expect. I am sorry.
And divorce tear end. I'm sorry for your family.
May the enlightened welcome them. I will pray for their souls.
Sorry, sailor. I know what it's like to lose comrades.
No possible doubt remains. All the clues point in the same direction. The people from the sea who built these ruins and confronted the natives, they were us. This must be the reason they kept us in the dark. Constantine is going to be furious when he learns this.
It's difficult to admit. And to think that I turn to you to help us against the Bridge Alliance. I do not judge you guilty of the crimes of your ancestors, but this story is known.
I know. This will not help our relations with your people, that is certain.
And to think we helped you. I'm having trouble dealing with this, even if it does explain a lot. We're going to have to keep this story under lock and key. The natives are not going to swallow it easily without a long chew.
My son, this information, even if it does explain a great deal, should be shared with prudence. The natives will not find it a good sign their legendary foes have returned. As for the other nations...
It goes to show that times change. To think that you were once conquerors. You're going to have to pay me more for protection. If it comes out, there will be those who see red.
It would appear that the Ordo Luminous has been up to mischief again. Their foolish zealousness has been causing us a lot of problems. If we let them, they'd burn the entire world and leave it to the enlightened to sort out the good from the bad.
The noughts like to be secretive, just like us. Guilds always are. But that does not make them heretics or poisoners. Now, these priests are exaggerating.
I cannot believe that these lunatics dared capture some of my brothers to interrogate them. We must set them free from the Coin's jail as soon as possible.
May the enlightened forgive them for their foolishness. We must set these noughts free from the Coin's jails as soon as possible. This could cause a major diplomatic incident if it came to light.
To hell with those extremists. Why did they have to drag us into this? We must set these noughts free from their jails, Greenblood, or the situation will escalate and it will be bad for everyone.
These Solasser are crazy and violent. We cannot leave those Norts in their hands. They'd kill them. We must set them free from the Coin's jails. And we must discover what they mean by purification. I really don't like the way they used this word.
I can't believe it. That for all this time, I've been fed lies.
We should have anticipated this, I guess. You do look more like a native than someone from the continent. In any case, I'm sorry. I know how it feels to discover later in life that you're not who you thought you were.
I am sorry, Greenblood. I promise you that I knew nothing of it. And as far as I'm concerned, this changes nothing. I will keep watching over you.
I understand you may be sad because you were lied to. But do not be sad about who you are. We are a proud people. And I am glad to know that you are one of us.
My child, I understand that this revelation is upsetting. I wish I had the right words to comfort you. In any case, you do not have to be ashamed of your ancestry. This island is at the very core of all our fates.
Did Constantine know? I must go and see him.
What a horrible mask. How can someone wear such a thing unless they're worshipping some dark creature?
Masks often allow their wearers to intimidate those who do not belong to their group.
I wouldn't like to cross paths in a dark alleyway with someone wearing a mask like this.
This is just a mask they wear in battle to intimidate their enemies, nothing more.
I will admit that it's rather ghastly, but I'm almost certain that the warriors of this island wear these things in battle.
The Sengedin Anadas are known for being terrifying on the battlefield.
All these gruesome and bloody horrors leave no room for doubt. There is a demonic cult here.
I do not believe in all those demon stories, but all these horrors do make you think.
I do not believe for 1 second in those demons, but seeing these adornments...
I have never seen anything like this before. This is very violent and bloody. Traitorous clan has always been a bit different. Perhaps they wear masks such as this one.
This man must be involved in some sordid matters.
I'm starting to think the priest was right. This ceremony sends shivers down my spine.
What a strange ritual. I have never seen anything like it. The rituals of my village are not quite as scary.
This is really extraordinary. I'd love to know how they managed to do such a thing.
There is no longer any doubt. The creature who was talking through this tree is a demon.
Gertonsadag! Killed! You killed her! Monsters! Murderers!
He seems quite upset over a creature that was set on killing us all.
Interesting. He seems attached to this creature as if they were familiar.
Come now, old fellow. Abandon your faith in this demon. You see that it was a beast after all.
Assassin? Of this creature?
You knew her, old man? Before she became a Nadaig.
May the earth swallow you whole. You and those from their dark oil. They must all be destroyed.
Calm down. We didn't have a choice. We were only defending ourselves.
Shiora, what is he talking about? Why is he so furious, and who is Enon Milfrictaman?
I believe he is furious because he knew the Nadaig before she bonded. He mourns her in this way.
It is a rather evocative name. What does it mean? A man? A myth?
Fascinating. Imagine that this man was once a friend of this monster.
This name rings a bell. I've heard it before. It is surely the name of the demon we seek to expose.
Enon Milfrictaman. It is the spirit of the whole of Tirfredi. The source of all life and our magic.
Are you saying that that creature was once a woman?
Yes, like you and me. Anyone who draws upon the power of the earth becomes one of their faces in exchange. As for your other question, Enon Milfrictaman means one of 1,000 faces.
One of 1,000 faces? If it is a creature, I would prefer to avoid crossing paths.
I would say that he died a few days ago, certainly at the same time the attack took place.
This man traded his life for all the suffering of my people.
It was only a scholar, a sage, not a warrior on the battlefield.
Do you think my people see a difference when bridgemen steal our people from their beds? From who do you think all the clans hide dead children?
I lean toward Siora's point of view. The practices of these scholars, so-called seekers of knowledge, are barbaric.
I have heard stories from the natives describing Bridger atrocities. If they are true, this violent attack, though tragic, would be justified.
Taleme would offer you protection and support.
In exchange for our souls. I think we would prefer to go to war.
This man was unarmed. And from the position of his body, I would say he was fleeing. It is not honor that motivates them. Maybe it was vengeance.
Padir has gone blind. His pride would not let him tell you.
Blind? But that's horrible.
And he left without telling us. That old silly fool.
You were right to tell her. Better to swallow one's pride, but remain alive.
That old fool would probably have died from starvation under that tree without your intervention. You were right to speak about his affliction to that woman.
That poor Padir fell asleep under a tree. Age, I suppose. It seems like it would be the right time for him to take on an apprentice, someone to help him on his walks.
Well done, Greenblood. As age gains ground, pride is often all that a man is allowed to keep.
If one day I'm as old as that man, I hope to run into someone like you, de Sardet.
You are completely right. It would be a shame that such great wisdom be lost.
What were they saying, Siora?
The chief regrets the loss of the prisoners of the bridge. She said that the mistress of wisdom at the Viksha Dir should be informed. It is the village of the Great Hunt. It can be found to the northeast. There should be a path that leads us there close by.
It's a shame we didn't have that pretty twig with us. She could have translated all that gibberish.
I think I've heard the word they use for their mistress of wisdom once before. She also spoke of the northeast, but I can't tell you much more than that.
This just goes to prove that we severely lack knowledge concerning the native vernacular.
Well, thanks for gleaning the direction.
We really need to build ourselves a dictionary.
It looks very ancient. I wonder what treasures it contains.
Be respectful. We are in a sacred passage, which is for initiation and meditation.
Oh, what an amazing place. I'd love to have enough time to explore it. I might discover some secrets of the natives' exceptional knowledge.
This place must be some type of shrine dedicated to the demonic creatures of this island.
It is an ancient and holy forest. A powerful place. There must be a Nadaig here. We should be careful.
These trees are so tall and so majestic, they're like the pillars of a cathedral. And yet I cannot help but shudder. We should stay on guard.
I feel as if we're being watched. We'd better be careful.
The traitor had a contingency plan. He must be boarding a ship to another city as we speak.
The Admiral certainly can't be aware of his plotting. She would never support him.
I thought as much. She would have too much to lose.
I dare not imagine what would happen if they took control of San Mateus.
Or Hikmet. All our research would be lost.
To think that if I'd had my ship, I could have blocked the way out or chased him.
Torsten is a snake, but he's clever. Apparently, he suspected I would refuse to follow his orders.
He must have been told about our attack on the ghost camp and drew his own conclusions.
I'm glad I was not in Kurt's place. He became a traitor unwittingly.
So Torsten didn't trust Kurt. He suspected him of being more loyal to you than to the Guard.
It's so sad, knowing that Kurt sacrificed his life for a commander who didn't even trust him.
I should probably have taken more heed of him. He was my master and my friend, and I did not listen. What a waste.
I beg you, my child. We cannot let San Mateus fall into the hands of these traitors. What spiritual force will remain then to face the evil of this island and the deceit of the Alliance?
Let them fend for themselves. Would they have come to save you if the situation had been reversed?
One thing is certain, we cannot save them both. You will need to make a choice between the two.
And Hikmet cannot fall. Too many lives are depending on our research. If she falls into the hands of the Coin Guard, we'll lose years of research in our hunt for a remedy.
Of course. Without your village, the island will fall. Monstrous.
If your abject mixtures could do anything at all against the Malachor after all this time.
Why did it take her so much time to accept that her sister was in love with that boy?
Because her sister was betrothed to another. Breaking a promise is taking the risk of being exiled.
As you know, my child, a promise made to someone is just as important on the continent. It is not surprising for a woman to want to protect her sister's reputation.
Breaking a betrothal would be just as problematic in a noble family of Serene. Why should it be different here?
Does one's word mean nothing on your island?
2 youths died because of them.
And we wonder why the natives have a bad opinion of us.
Now you understand why some of us fight against the Renaigse. Their words are always sweet, but all they bring is death.
These missionaries are a disgrace to our order. Believe me, I'll make sure they cannot hurt anyone else.
They do not see us as fellow humans, so they think they can do anything they want to us.
Alas, some of my brothers and sisters are blinded by our mission to convert the natives. Believe me, this is as horrifying to me as it is to you.
This is the camp that Constantine's escort must have established.
Someone or something attacked and tore everything to shreds.
May the Illuminated bring them assistance. This camp is no more.
It looks more like a battlefield.
It wasn't a landslide that did this, but combat. A deadly one.
I hope the Doneigad and your cousin survived the fight.
This seems all too familiar.
I sure hope our little governor has escaped the carnage.
And then there are these traces of inexplicable flames. Could it be magic?
The attack seems to have begun below, at the campsite. Or on this site of witchcraft.
You cannot suspect my people are behind this attack. You have strayed far from the path. No one would have attacked Katasach.
Unless he himself was behind it. He is a powerful Doneigad. The beasts obey him.
Who else? After all, he has gone missing as well now.
You are thinking of Katasach? Frankly, I doubt that the healer could have transformed himself into an avenging monster. I admit that the attack of these animals is suspicious, but that he had any part of it.
How could you even think something like that? He is a healer. He brought comfort to your cousin.
No colonist understands how to control the fauna of this island. Whereas for the native wise men...
You believe Katasach could have orchestrated this attack?
Who else? You know all too well that with your cousin a hostage, you would be obliged to cede to the demands of the natives.
He would then have only accepted to treat him in order to gain his trust. I don't know.
Animals would not have attacked a group of armed men willingly. Unless they were guided.
We are also going to have to visit the outpost.
And you think that they would have taken Constantine? Is that possible? Maybe he was in need of treatment. But if you suspect them to have participated in the combat to capture him, I think you're wasting your time.
I doubt that the Alliance would have decided to openly attack their ally. Don't forget that they owe their continued presence on the island to you.
That trail seems a better one to follow. Katasach is a good man, but the soldiers and the lions have already betrayed you.
And they are guards, who have proven their loyalty as constant as the ocean.
That's true, but I do not see how they could have made these animals obey them.
Their presence here might not have been simply coincidental, or they might have just taken advantage of a fortunate situation.
Their soldiers were involved in the combat, or at least the end of it. They must have some stories for us.
I know the captain of that outpost. A pessimistic man who would never order an attack without being absolutely certain of total victory without losses.
This must be the entrance to Vinbar's sanctuary. But it's obstructed.
You don't just reveal the secret to your hideout, unless it were to the person you loved.
This High King has been living like a hermit for ages. I doubt he's revealed his secrets to too many people.
Vinbar was distant. He spoke little. Only one person shared both his love and his secrets.
If I had a secret like this one, I would only share it with someone I truly trusted.
These monsters are torturing her. Come, we must set her free.
So this is how the Alliance treats the natives. No wonder they're revolting. We must intervene.
How can they do this? This is such a disgrace. Let's talk to them. I may be able to reason with them.
These barbarians are no better than our inquisitors.
This is strange. The two tracks that we followed have led us to the same name. Enon mil frictimin.
The god of 1,000 faces. But I don't believe he is the origin of your sickness. He protects us. He watches over us.
The divinity of the natives, or the spirit of this island, if I've understood correctly. This god protects his people, I hear that. But why create a sickness that would decimate an entire continent?
The god of the island. A god that seems to be truly real and friendly, above all. But to think he would go as far as to create a sickness for all of us.
The natives consider him a god, but I am sure that there must be a rational explanation. It is, in any case, an entity with capacities that as of yet we fail to comprehend, and fail miserably. But it's ridiculous to think that he created a sickness so complex that it touches the people of the continent alone.
Impressive. I wasn't expecting that. It's a real fortress.
What a horrible place. A prison hidden from the sun to better torture my people.
I didn't expect to find a place like this hidden here.
I've never seen a laboratory like this one. It's more like a prison.
Science, my child. Do you see where those who honor her end up? They lose their souls.
How can anyone do something like this to another person? We don't even treat animals like that.
I can't believe the Alliance would dare do this to us. I hope the Admiral will make him pay.
I want the one who did this to know fear and suffering.
What they did to all those prisoners, to my brothers, is revolting.
Now you understand why my mother and the Donea Exregau are so enraged. I want to destroy this place. To leave some Nadigs here so that nature can take back its rights.
If my brothers were in these cages, I would destroy this place stone by stone.
It's easy to understand the anger of the Donea Exregau after seeing this.
How could the doctor do such a thing without thinking about the consequences?
How many have they killed?
And devastated. So many of us must have died here.
How could members of the Guard choose to participate in this massacre?
It's terrible. These scientists are even more monstrous than I imagined.
I can't believe it. Constantine's malachor was caused by a silly.
My child, are you aware that if your uncle learns of this, there will be war?
I'm sorry, Greenblood. I never thought someone would try to kill him that way.
Either this doctor is crazy, or he wanted to provoke a war against the natives and the congregation.
And devastated. They were cut up like pieces of meat.
If only we'd known sooner.
I am sure that the enlightened will welcome these martyrs of science with open arms.
I can't believe that a silly could have fallen so low. I'm so ashamed. I feel nauseous.
May the volcano engulf those who did this.
This must be where I need to place the seed. The seed that Sarah was carrying should work.
Seeing as how the woman died to protect this passage, I would bet on it.
Let's hope so. We're not going to stay stuck here forever, not while Constantine is still in danger.
That would be logical in any case.
To think that she gave her life to protect the one she loved.
The scholars have been slaughtered. It must have been Sarah taking her revenge.
Some of them were my friends. What a waste.
Sarah doesn't seem to have returned to her village. Someone here might know where to find her.
You might as well try and swim the Great Sea. They won't tell us anything.
These village folk are not the talkative type. It would be a waste of time.
If she came by here after having locked us up in the grotto, she would have warned them we were coming. So even if they know where she's gone, they won't tell us a thing.
My child, we have a more urgent task at hand than to find that woman. Your cousin is still reported missing and must be in great danger.
This woman knows the mountains like the lining of her pocket. If she wants to disappear, there will be no finding her. And might I remind you that my first duty is to protect your cousin.
The prince was clever. You have the words of a diplomat and the face of a native.
If only there was a way to be certain of the results of this vote. We would only need to convince one.
If there is a way to influence this vote, take your time to think about the consequences.
You will have to prove that you are worthy of their trust.
Everyone on the island will listen to the words of a High King.
Don't expect them to yield easily. After all, they're protecting their most sacred place.
We will need to provide them with our services. Even when they're natives, kings are all the same.
There is way more at stake in this election than your encounter with Enolmir Frichtemen.
You are a metamorph. The natives will listen to you more carefully than they will listen to any other settlers.
They will most likely ask for services in exchange, but I'm convinced that you will know what to do.
It will decide the fate of my people, and it may even decide the fate of yours.
Now we have earned the trust of one of the pretenders. We just need to find that crown.
Have you thought carefully about what your allies' intentions are?
Are you certain you are willing to influence the fate of all my people to meet Enolmir Frichtemen?
I understand that you might find this idea unpleasant, but the survival of the whole continent relies on this encounter, Siora.
It is my feeling that you do not understand the consequences of such a decision.
It may be wise to make sure your pretender's intentions are compatible with yours. And if it's not the case, to find another. We wouldn't want to be the architects of a future we don't like, would we?
Are you certain that you've chosen the right ally? If not, we can go and find another. What's a little menial work when compared to the fate of this whole island?
I hope you and your allies share the same ideas. Because once the crown is on their head, we will have to follow their course.
Because every king and every queen has their own opinion when it comes to Dir in Agse and what should be done. Once elected, they will decide and we will follow.
But you will still need to convince them that you are acting in good faith. If you approve of them, fine. But if you don't, it would be better to pick someone else.
Deirdre is a great warrior. If she reigns, she will unite all of the clans. And with the blessing of Enolmir Frichtemen, the people of your island will be chased away from here. Think long on this. If you leave her the crown, she will become the High Queen. You will not be able to change your mind.
It is the future of the island you have in your hands. Think long and hard before deciding.
You need, first of all, to assure yourself that she will help you enter that damned sanctuary. Do not forget that this choice goes beyond the destiny of the sick alone. It is all of the colonies of the island that will need to learn to swim if she is queen.
Once the power is in her hands, she will send a wave of blood and destruction over the entire island. I know that you are bound to this island, but think of the others, of us, of your cousin. Think about it.
I don't like this at all. What could he be doing outside every night?
Normally, I would have said getting drunk at the tavern, but clearly that isn't the case.
He never was very reasonable, but it is true that these walks at night are rather suspicious.
Ever since he became Onol Menawi, he has become even stranger than he was before.
This boy has always behaved erratically. I'd love to believe that he's out meeting girls, but sadly I doubt it. I never thought your cousin was capable of such madness. Killing people that he suspects might have seen him. We can't let him do this, my child. We must help them.
Your cousin has lost his mind for good. Now he's talking about killing people simply because they have seen him. We can't let him do this.
I'm sorry. It can't be easy to discover that your cousin has descended into madness. But we can't let him kill these people simply because he's afraid they might have seen him.
Your cousin now sees threats where there aren't any. We must protect these people from his madness.
Constantine, come back and explain yourself.
To think I taught this spoiled brat how to wield a weapon, and now he's throwing beasts at us.
What your cousin did to this Nadag is abhorrent. If Katasach had known, he would have let him die.
He won't come back. He's the one contaminating the Guardians. He's the one responsible for the attacks.
My child, I'm afraid your cousin may not come back. It seems he has descended into madness.
I must admit that I expected Duncas to be more angered when he learned what Constantine had done.
It's true, he took it with a relaxed acceptance. It's probably an old sage thing.
He is an intelligent man. He must have guessed the purpose of our visit before we even spoke to him.
I think his god told him before we even arrived.
I think he already knew what was happening, even before we came to see him.
And he is a wise and patient man. In another context, he would have been an amazing priest.
This place, this journal. My poor Constantine, you have completely lost your mind.
No Doneigad has ever done such a thing. It goes against the balance that we are defending. Enon Mir Frichtemann was right. Your cousin wants power. He is feeding from the strength of Tyr Fredi.
According to the Doneigada, each bond gives some form of power to the one who makes it. Your cousin never has enough, apparently.
The people from the continent are not suited to the magic of this island. We don't understand it. Its strength has given your cousin a thirst for power, and now he'll never have enough.
If you want my opinion, once he had a taste of the power of the Doneigada, he decided he wanted more. The natives uphold a certain balance. For everything they receive, they give back to the island. Your cousin doesn't.